First, it's been a year since Bashar al-Assad, Syria's dictator, fled his presidential palace in the middle of the night and took flight to Russia, confirming that his family's half-century grip over the country was done. It was a downfall that had seemed unthinkable even days before. His regime had brutally crushed a civilian uprising and held steady during more than a decade of civil war. Today, exactly 12 months on from that momentous time, despite enormous challenges, Syrians are celebrating. Those are live pictures we're showing you from Damascus, the Syrian capital today. Now, France 24's Nadia Massih is in Damascus for us, and she spoke to my colleague a little earlier about the atmosphere there.
I am standing here in Umayyad Place in the heart of Damascus, where thousands of Syrians came here today to gather and to celebrate this day, to commemorate the anniversary of the fall of the Assad regime. A lot of joy and happiness around me. We can see women and children and men who came from all around Syria. I have been able as well to speak to Syrians who came from abroad as well. A lot of joy now happening. Some people and some Syrians, some children especially, they painted the Syrian flag on their faces. Some other Syrians were as well talking and saying that we are celebrating this day here today. Even though we have a lot of challenges, we are talking about a very difficult economical situation and as well a political situation. A lot of challenges for Syrians and for authorities as well.
That was our correspondent Nadia Massih. She's in Damascus today. Well, let's speak on the programme live as well to Nanar Hawach. She's a Syria analyst at the International Crisis Group. He joins us from Abu Dhabi, I believe. Thank you for speaking to us today on the programme.
Thank you for having me.
Look, we will come to the future of Syria in a moment, the immense challenges that lie ahead. But first, look, as somebody who watches Syria very closely, just take us back to a year ago, December the 8th, 2024, how you felt then watching those extraordinary images out of Syria, and what is it that really stays with you from that time?
Well, a year ago, me and Syrians, all Syrians, witnessed the impossible. After 54 years, the Assad dynasty finally fell. That moment really brought euphoria. People suddenly felt that they could speak, organize, and imagine a different future. You had prisons emptied, millions of Syrians that were denied to go back to their homes. Now they have the opportunity to see their homes.
Yeah, so an emotional moment for you as an analyst and as a Syrian yourself. Let's talk about Syria's new leader then, a year in, Ahmed al-Sharaa. It's been said before, but really his transformation is extraordinary. It is staggering. He used to run the al-Nusra Front, an organisation part effectively of al-Qaeda. And it was just last month he was there shaking hands with the US president, who seemed to take rather warmly to him. Tell me a bit of your thoughts on the transformation of al-Sharaa, and specifically on how you would characterise his relations now with the US president.
Yeah, I mean, al-Sharaa's achievements and transformation and what he accomplished last year has been extraordinary when it comes to the diplomatic turnaround for him, for Syria. I mean, a year ago, as you said, Sharaa was a wanted man with a US bounty on his head. Today, he's welcome to the White House. Something that no Syrian president has done before. So sanctions were lifted, Gulf states pledged billions, and Syria even joined the coalition against ISIS. It was a calculated move by the Syrian government. They basically gave the West what they wanted on critical files like Iran and ISIS, and in return, they got a lifeline. For a nation that needs to rebuild from scratch, that trade-off was a major win.
And let's talk about how Sharaa is seen within Syria today, because as I say on the world stage, as you've said as well, he has ingratiated himself with leaders in Europe and in the United States. But at home, how much trust do you think Syrians have that he can deliver at this profoundly complicated time, with even the territorial integrity of Syria now actually in doubt?
Yeah. So al-Sharaa won over the world, right? But he has yet to win over all Syrians. At home, the road has been rocky. Attempts to impose order have been severe, resulting in loss of life in the south and on the coast. As a result, you have minority communities that feel exposed and without state protection. Also, there's no clear roadmap of how political life will open up. When parties, when will they form or be allowed to form? How will different communities be represented? It's unclear. These questions remained unanswered. Or remain unanswered, and that uncertainty is creating or increasing or adding to the feeling of anxiety and feeding into anxiety. So I would say, to summarize between what he did abroad and what he did internally, that basically the international breakthrough was a first step. Bringing the same momentum to the domestic front is the challenge that for the next year ahead.
Indeed, and Syria is deeply divided. We have Druze in the south of Syria, some of whom are allied with Israel. We have Kurds in the north who long have wanted their own state. You have Alawites on the coast, the minority group that Bashar al-Assad's family came from. They fear some reprisals now from those affiliated with this government. On that, can Ahmed al-Sharaa hold Syria together now, do you think?
It is a major challenge. Basically, taking a step back, he needs to turn the end of Assad's rule into real transition. The end of Assad's rule needs to be not the end, but really the beginning. This means building security that people can trust, involving more communities in decision-making, and showing clearly what kind of state Syria is. And as you mentioned, there's also the Kurdish question, which is 1/4 of the country and most of Syria's resources. Those talks between Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, and the Syrian government are stuck. And if they fail, this will risk a new cycle of violence or dragging Syria into conflict all over again.
Can you just end for us by... we're a year on from the fall of the Assad regime. Give us an optimistic picture, perhaps, of where we might be a year from now if Ahmed al-Sharaa is able to hold Syria together. What might we be seeing? How could Syria look?
As I said, this is a new beginning. This is where the story for Syrians actually began. Before that, it was all that struggle just for Syrians to reach, to be able to write their story. They wrote it very well. The authorities wrote it very well abroad. And right now, and al-Sharaa gave a lot of good promises, a lot of good words to Syrians internally. So for next year, if al-Sharaa applies and fulfills his promises, then it is going to be the fairy tale, let's say, that Syrians have hoped for.
Nanar Hawach speaking to us from the International Crisis Group. He's in Dubai. Thank you very much indeed.